Why hello everyone, this is Kaiju 2014-117 returning. So, I recovered the Resident Evil Origins. Basically it includes Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1 Remake. And of course we recovered Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is still by far my favorite Resident Evil of all time. And I scored that game 10 out of 10 because I love everything about it. Especially with some, which I forgot to mention, bonus stuff that they include. And it's totally worth $60. But right now it's about $40. Now, what I'm surprised is the next remake of the Resident Evil game that just came out this year. Which, we'll talk about that on the negative side. But for now, let's talk about Resident Evil 3 Remake. So basically it's a recently new Resident Evil game. And it's a remake of the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now, I did play a little bit of the Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the original, on the PlayStation 3, just for a little bit, but I do see there were some really good moments from that game, and it was so awe-inspiring. For Resident Evil 3 Remake, so let's talk about some good things about it. So, I do love the graphics from Resident Evil 2. The RE engine is still amazing. I do love Nemesis being such, how can you put it this way, terrifyingly in a way, kind of like Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, but I think I still prefer Mr. X a little bit more. But I will say this, Nemesis was definitely tougher than Mr. X, and it was a lot harder to escape from him, especially since he is hunting your butt down. So what's the story about? So Resident Evil 3 takes place before, during, and after Resident Evil 2. So it's around sometimes by September 28th. That's when a whole chaos started. And Nemesis is hunting Jill Valentine, one of the survivors of the Arklay Mountain incident that happened, like it says about 3 months ago or so, or could be a bit longer or shorter. But the point is, so Jill Valentine is being hunted by Project Nemesis because she's one of the rare survivors of star units, and he's trying to take them down so that way Umbrella will not get accused for whatever biological weapons they are developing in there, which could be bankrupted. So she did meet one of the characters, the next main character, Carlos, who is also part of the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Services, UBCM for short. Hang on, UBCMS. Yeah, UBCMS. It's kind of really hard to, how can you say, well, to say those kind of logos in a way, because it feels kind of awkward to me though. But let's continue on. So the gameplay feels kind of like Resident Evil 2, except it feels more action oriented, a bit more, I wouldn't say fast paced. As well, they included the dodge system, which is pretty interesting, and I do enjoy myself, and I'm pretty sure every one of us enjoyed it. So, and of course I love some of the moments in Resident Evil 3, and that was all it. Now, let's get to the cons and disappointment. Probably the biggest one is how long this game is. So, if you know, some of the Resident Evil games takes about 7 hours for some of us, especially when we first play it or when we try to search. For Resident Evil 2's case, it took about, I would say, 10 hours, even longer than that, because I like to do crafting, do it carefully. Resident Evil 3, for my best case, even when I'm searching around, it took me 5 hours, or 5.5. Really? Capcom, why are you doing this? First of all, I kind of knew this would happen. It would be disappointing. Now here's the reason why. So, after Resident Evil 6, Capcom, one of the team of Capcom said they are developing Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I believe that was announced in 2015 from YouTube, and it took, and then while they're developing it, we were waiting for news, I think about 3 years or so. If I'm incorrect, just tell me the exact year that they announced they were developing Resident Evil 2, because I know it's during Resident Evil 7's release and then afterwards, because Resident Evil 7 was released in 2017, and it was one of my favorite games, which we will do a review for that later. Then afterwards, a year later, we have Resident Evil 2 Remake trailer. And then after that, in 2019 release, So that's like about 3 years. While this game, the trailer for that got released sometimes in, I believe, in the winter of, or fall in 2019, and then got released in 2020. So I don't know how long this game was developed, but I'm pretty sure it was either a year or less than that. If that's true, then that shows why it feels so rushed, why it's less. Why? Plus, I heard that Nemesis has more appearances in the original, which I saw some of the videos, and then I played a little bit, and oh my gosh, they're right. And they cut out some of the systems, some of the best parts, like alternate endings. I mean, they have that, but it's basically if you didn't do it correctly, you basically die. But there's like alternate endings, there's alternate choices. That's not what's in Resident Evil 3, and I want that to be in there, but I guess Capcom didn't think about it. But here's the reason why they're also selling this for full price. It's because of Project Resistance. Now, first things first, just to let you guys know, I'm not a huge multiplayer fan. I'm not a fan of multiplayer games. Kind of like Call of Duty, but I only play Call of Duty for campaigns, so I'm more of a campaign person. And then seeing this, I think they put so much effort onto the multiplayer that it's what makes people really upset about. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason why. I can't believe they did that. And I have not even tried it yet. I don't even know if I am gonna try it, but we'll see. Now, overall, is this game very bad? It's not very bad. It's just disappointing. But I still enjoyed the game though, so it's really hard choice for me to say what is the appropriate game level. So here's what I would recommend. If you really want to buy this game, then I recommend save your money for $40 or even less than that. The reason is because you save yourself money. If you want to spend $60 on any Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 2 is worth $60. Not only includes campaign, it includes some bonus games that's included. And that's worth $60. But right now it's worth $40. And you can get those for free without paying extra stuff. Unless you bought the Deluxe Edition, which it just includes some new costumes and stuff, which is still more worth it. Because this one only has at least a very limited costumes. But overall, Resident Evil 3 is a very great and disappointing game. So, for me personally, I would like to give it a 7 out of 10. Because I still enjoy the game though. As long as I enjoy the game, that's fine. But it does drop 3 points down because I'm disappointed. But if you guys feel this game deserves a 6 out of 10, that's more appropriate. But if you planning to give it a 3 out of 10 or so, then I'm not too sure exactly what is your ideal of Resident Evil 3 or why you feel this is even lower. But overall, it's still a good game. It's just too short. It feels like it's part of the DLC game, which I think it should be a part of the DLC for Resident Evil 2 Remake. But is there any ideas what we can do to improve Resident Evil 3? Well, I mean, they could have extended Carlos's mission, because we do see we see Carlos gameplay, but only a little bit when he was in the RPD. And plus, I think there were some moments that Nemesis was in the RPD station and it didn't take place. Well, overall, this game could have been better and it was kind of disappointing. But if you guys still want to buy this game, I do recommend waiting until when it's about $40 price or even lower. Because $40 is probably a right amount for this game, especially for how many hours. I mean, there were other spin-off games that were 5 to 6 hours that's worth $40, like Revelations 1 and Revelations 2, which we will do a review for those later on. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys will agree. Tell me, what is your favorite Resident Evil games? Okay? Anyways, thank you guys so much. This is Kaiju 2014-117, signing off.